Hey, cryptozens. Tonight's stories. $108 million in crypto donations for Ukraine. Lawmakers target digital yuan. FTX and Stripe partner up on payments and risk mitigation. It's 10 p.m. Pacific time, and the date is March 10th, 2022. Welcome back to the Crypto Overnighter. I'm your host, Nick. The cover model for this podcast is Tex. And together we take a nightly look at the crypto, NFT, and metaverse space and the industry that surrounds it. We bring you news stories on familiar topics. Keep in mind, nothing in this show should ever be considered financial advice. Now, if you're new here and you find that you like this show, subscribe and rate us. If you're on Spotify, you can rate us right from the app. Give Tex and I 5 stars. It'll help other people find their way here. All right, here we go. Remember LimeWire? It's been silent for over a decade, but apparently it's back. And true to its roots, you will still be able to use LimeWire to download music. This time, however, you're going to pay for it. You see, LimeWire is reincarnating itself as an NFT marketplace. They announced Wednesday that customers would be able to purchase music and art both from their NFT marketplace. They're expecting to launch in May, and they're planning on an official NFT with an award system of some sort. Now, it's going to run on Algorand, and that's for cost and for energy efficient minting. And it's expected to be fully curated with major partnerships from the music industry. Now, Paul and Julian Zetmeyer are the brothers that bought the rights to the company. They said, quote, LimeWire is returning as a platform for artists, not against them. On LimeWire, the majority of the revenue will go directly to the artist, and we will be working with creators to allow full flexibility, ownership, and control when it comes to their content. You know, this one seems okay. I'm generally against the revamping of dead projects into Web3 detritus, but mostly because it's tacky or it has nothing to do with Web3 at all. In this case, it's different. LimeWire, for one thing, has a history of letting its users download music. It's just legal this time. I like it. Now, before we get into tonight's stories, let's take a quick look at the markets. At the time of writing, global crypto market cap is $1.76 trillion. That's down 4.07% in 24 hours. The top 5 cryptos by market cap are Bitcoin down 5.26%, Ethereum down 2.65%, Tether, Binance Coin down 4.96% in USDC. The global NFT market cap is just above 10.06 billion, so that's up 7.2%. The top 5 NFT collections by 24-hour volume on OpenSea are kind of a mix, actually. Cyber brokers are up 215%, Mutant Apes are up 26%, then Gutter Juice is down 50%, and CloneX is down 28%. And then you got Azuki, that's up 64%. Now, keep in mind, some of these collections have very volatile prices. So, do your own research. $108 million in crypto donations for Ukraine. On Wednesday, it was announced that crypto donations to Ukraine has passed $108 million. This is totaled up from different sources. Now, the top 3 beneficiaries are Ukrainian government wallet addresses, Bitcoin and Ethereum, and the Bitcoin donations for Come Back Alive. Now, Come Back Alive, they directly supplement funding for Ukraine military. Also on Wednesday, it was announced that Kraken would be supplying $10 million in relief efforts. This would come in the form of a Bitcoin airdrop to their clients. Those are customers who open an account in Ukraine before March 9th. Now, those customers are going to receive $1,000 in Bitcoin. This is regardless of account level, so it's not like they're saving the best for the richest customers. It's pretty fair. And this is Bitcoin that can be immediately withdrawn. In addition to that, speaking of withdrawing, they're eliminating currency exchange fees on amounts up to $1,000. Jesse Powell is the CEO of Kraken, and he said, quote, cryptocurrency remains an important humanitarian tool especially at a time when many around the world can no longer rely on traditional banks and custodians. Kraken's Twitter account announced the donation, and that tweet said, Kraken will distribute over $10 million worth of aid to clients in Ukraine. Tranche 1 recipients will be credited $1,000 of Bitcoin, withdrawable tomorrow. The package is funded by historical Ukraine revenues and H122 revenues from U.S.-based trading. Using the term tranche here suggests that there's going to be further rounds of funding. We'll see. Alex Bornyakov is the minister of Ukraine's Ministry of Digital Transformation. And I spoke about him recently. I talked about it's got to be this huge shift to go from trying to figure out how to get your country's government converted to be a totally online thing, and then you find yourself working on securing the war chest of your country because it's being invaded. It's quite a shift. Anyway, he said Ukraine has received close to $100 million in crypto donations. He said more than $60 million of that $100 million is in the primary fund administered by Kuna. Now, Kuna is Ukraine's crypto exchange. During an interview on CoinDesk TV's First Mover, he reiterated his country's plea that Russian users be cut off from exchange services. And then Bored Apes. Okay, I covered a story a while back last year. This was a story about the Bored Apes, and they had this awesome sounding party in New York. And the cover charge for that party was ownership of a Bored Ape. Apparently, the owners of those NFTs are banding together again, but for a different cause. They have joined the crypto fundraising efforts for Ukraine. The creators collected approximately $1 million from Bored Ape NFT holders. And then they matched that amount with $1 million of Ethereum on their own donation. Quote, "It's been inspiring seeing our community come together in support of Ukraine. Almost $1 million of Ethereum has been donated to Ukraine by wallets containing a Bored Ape Yacht Club ecosystem NFT. Today, we're matching that with a $1 million Ethereum donation of our own." And then finally, Binance's Emergency Relief Fund. And they've been very busy. They've collected approximately $13.3 million in Bitcoin, Binance Coin, and Binance USD. Lawmakers target digital yuan. And yeah, if you think of it, it could be a bit of a problem, really. So that's why 9 lawmakers, all of them are Republican, they're backing legislation on this very issue. They want to change U.S. policy around concerns that China's CBDC is going to be used to circumvent sanctions. They're also concerned about the security of the personal information of the central bank digital coin users. Wednesday's announcement came from Louisiana Senator Bill Cassidy and Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn, and 7 of their colleagues. Now, it proposes the Say No to the Silk Road Act. That's a bill that would require certain agencies to track the digital yuan and issue a report on them. Cassidy and Blackburn said they have concerns around digital surveillance and the privacy of both Chinese citizens and foreign users. If this bill passes, it'll be up to the U.S. Trade Representative and the U.S. Secretary of Commerce to report on the effects of the digital yuan from both a trade and an enforcement level. In addition to that, the State Department will be issuing a warning against using it. Now, included were requirements for the OMB, the Office of Management and Budget, to develop guidelines for agencies to use a digital yuan. They'll also be looking at requiring foreign governments to disclose if they're using it. They'd have to disclose that if they want to continue to get military financial assistance. Senator Blackburn said, quote, "If left unchecked, technologies, including China's digital yuan, will empower Russia to evade global sanctions on systems such as SWIFT and enable the CCP to further surveil and threaten their citizens." Senator Hyde Smith also weighed in. She tweeted, China's digital currency raises red flags, considering the historic willingness of the CCP to control everything. Marsha Blackburn's Say No to the Silk Road Act lays out actions take to better prepare and manage risks associated with the CCP blockchain and digital yuan. We've talked about this here. Everybody is worried that Russia is going to use China to evade sanctions. While the US and the EU are pressing them on the economic front, they're worried that Russia will be using tools such as UnionPay. So that's why lawmakers are looking at crypto from the sanctions front, to make sure that Russia can't evade sanctions using digital assets. Wednesday, President Biden issued an executive order on cryptocurrency. While the executive order was focused on establishing a regulatory framework for crypto, he did mention its possible role in circumventing sanctions. And that's something that kind of bothers me lately. More often than not, the pro-crypto side seems to be Republican. And this is the case here before. At least on the subject of China's CBDC, Marsha Blackburn and Wyoming Senator Cynthia Lummis urged Olympic officials to forbid U.S. athletes from using the digital yuan. Reports suggest that few athletes took advantage of it anyway. But I'm really uncomfortable with the idea that it's coming down to a left and right thing, that if you're pro-crypto, you must be Republican. I really hope it doesn't go down that road. That's an ugly road. FTX and Stripe power up on payments and risk mitigation. So, Stripe is back into crypto, and they used to be, but they dropped Bitcoin back in 2018. Now, they're looking to crypto again for potential customers, and these customers include exchanges, on-ramps, wallets, and NFT marketplaces. According to their website, the plan is that Stripe's system will let companies, quote, process payments for fiat currencies globally through a single iteration with fraud prevention and authorization optimization built in. Amidst high transaction costs, Stripe dropped Bitcoin. They wrote that it had, quote, evolved to become better suited to being an asset than being a means of exchange. And, that's something that we hear today. But now that costs have gone way down, Stripe went to work and they started rebuilding their crypto team last year. Stripe provides system integration like Stripe Connect. Stripe Connect allows users to pay fiat currency in over 45 countries. They also have Stripe Identity. That's their ID verification system that allows them to mitigate the risk of fraud. So that's where this partnership with FTX comes in. They've worked together before. At one point, FTX was using Stripe Identity for their Know Your Customer process. So that's why FTX is turning to Stripe to improve payment processing and build a fiat to crypto on-ramp for their exchange. Because they've got a track record working together. FTX's president, Brett Harrison, tweeted that Stripe Identity, quote, greatly increased the speed of KYC processing. Unsurprisingly, compliance with FinCEN's travel rule, anti-money laundering requirements, and Know Your Customers laws are a focus. Customers are focused on it because regulators are focused on it. They seem determined to bring crypto operations under the same umbrella as other financial firms. And that's going to cover it tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. I really do appreciate it. So let me ask you this. Would you use a Chinese cryptocurrency? Would you be worried that it's got surveillance? The Chinese government has control over what transactions are and are not going to be allowed through their system. Would that bother you? Well, what about your own country? If they develop a central bank digital coin, would you trust their coin? It has the same capabilities. It has the same control and has the same surveillance capabilities. So do you trust your government not to abuse those capabilities? Let me know what you think. Send me an email at crypto.overnighter@gmail.com. That's crypto.overnighter@gmail.com. And give Crypto in 5 Minutes a lesson. We're up to 31 educational podcasts and counting. 5 minutes to explain one concept in crypto. And as always, may peace reign.